Hey, everybody, welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I am so blessed and so honored to be here with my good friend, Chuck White, the president of the International Association of Movers. How are you, Chuck?
I'm wonderful, Ben. How are you in your new spot?
Dude, the spot is great, but more importantly, I just got an appointment for my COVID vaccine today.
Woo!
I
I've already
know.
got one down. One down for me. Now, wait a minute. What lie did you tell
Dude,
the
I'm
administration?
obese. I'm obese, man. Obese people are having a moment right now, bro. We're having a moment. It won't last long. I got like 3 more months till summer hits and our stock drops again. But I'm telling you right now, we're having a moment.
You're getting a moment. You're getting a lie. Is what you would never ever describe yourself as obese.
Well, not until there was a COVID vaccine attached to it. I'll tell you what, shoot. That or a college scholarship. I mean, those are the two times I would probably come out of the closet as an obese individual. But no, so I'm super pumped about it. So I'm getting my first one on Friday, which is also awesome because I'm trying to get rope. People are trying to rope me into dispatchers convention.
Oh, we had that discussed. We're going to be a sponsor. IAM is a sponsor of Dispatchers.
I'm like, if that doesn't sound like something I need a vaccine or five for before I go down there. Yeah. So tell people who don't know about dispatchers what that is.
Sure, sure. So it really has grown, and I've been going for over a decade now, and I've been a guest speaker there for. I am the only business that gets done at that meeting. There's like a 45-minute section of a 4-day, 3.5-day meeting that actual business gets done. It's a big party, number one, but really it's a lot of the independent movers in the US, particularly in the South, Southeast, that are looking for partners for hauling, for origin destination services. And they get together and build these networking relationships over a cold beer or two. And, they build these relationships. And then when they call on somebody in the middle of June, middle of peak season, and they say, "Yeah, remember that beer I bought you at the bar on third day of," then they've got them hooked in. Okay, I can help you, kind of thing. So it really has turned out to be a really positive meeting. They usually have, it in a pre-pandemic environment, they had usually 250 to 300 attendees at it. So it was good.
Yeah, shout out to my domestic U.S. movers because it's probably the best kept secret from a networking opportunity in the
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah.
Go to dispatchers, check it out. But I'll be honest, in the middle of COVID, I was a little like, I don't know, John. I don't know if I'm going to make it, even though it's just down the road in Austin. But now that I got my vaccine, the first one this Friday, I'm like, I don't know. I think that's like an 80% effectiveness rate. I might roll the
And now that yeah.
I might roll the dice.
Now that you guys in Texas have just thrown away the mask and just said, "Nah, we're not doing that anymore."
I know, man. It's like dispatcher just got way more dangerous, which is also kind of like my kind of party. We got a bunch of people checking in right now. Hit that like button. Let me know where you're at, who you are, what you're up to. Give your company a shout out. Love to hear some questions, some comments, whatever for Chuck. We're going to talk about IAM. We're going to talk about some of the initiatives that are going on. We're going to talk about their conference and what they've got planned for us. We're going to talk about some domestic US issues, some international issues. We're going to talk about the global household goods contract for the United States military, which is fill in the blank billions of dollars, in value.
Crazy money.
Crazy
Crazy.
money. Okay. And let's see here. We got some people checking in real quick. Let's see who's on the line here. We got Tim Quirk, two of my favorite people. Hello, Chuck and Ben from Western New York.
All right, Mr.
What's
Quirk.
up? What's up, Timmy? Alan and King, aka the Champagne guy in Germany. Great to be here this evening. Looking forward to the show. Alan ships cars, I believe.
Checking in from Germany. I like it. V Gates.
Germans. This is the Germans. Tim Quirk, my first shot, 313. All right. Let us know if you got your COVID shot. How many of y'all, real quick impromptu poll, how many people out there have or are scheduled for their COVID-19 shot? My man, Chuck. My man.
I'm there.
There we
Got
go.
my first, got my second in 2 weeks. And my cat's waiting in the background to get her shot too.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, let's get everybody vaccinated here.
There's
Hi,
the
Chuck and Ben. What's up, Stacy Huff, super producer Stacy. Big shout out to Stacy. Stacy just does it all. She's the glue. Love you, Stacy. Jose Abali, two of my favorite guys. Hello, fellas from sunny Arizona.
ooh,
Yeah,
he's a little out of
Jose.
place here. What happened to Washington?
Yeah, I think he's moving. I think he's looking for a house. Jose, did you put an offer on the house yet? Let me know.
Ooh,
I know, right?
everybody's
Dispatch.
following. That's what it is.
Dude, everybody's moving out of Washington State. Obviously, the Bay Area, California, high cost New York. I mean, Michigan. Uh, what are you seeing, Chuck, from migratory trends, or what are you hearing from some of your
Exactly. You know,
partners?
Ben, you helped us really find out more about this when you helped us with our virtual conference back in October, and we brought in a lot of the corporates and a lot of the relocation companies into that meeting. And I learned a new term. It was delocation. We're not relocating, we're delocating, and that's just what you're talking about. It's what we've learned in the pandemic is people can work remotely. People don't have to live real close to where they work. So what we're seeing in this huge trend out of the expensive urban metropolitan areas because people are working remotely and they can take advantage of those decent salaries, but the low cost of living, in the middle of Arizona or wherever it may be. So yeah, this is most assuredly a trend, and it's a trend that I think is going to be ever increasing as we come back to this kind of new normal situation post pandemic.
So, what does that mean? What was moving like over the last 12 months then, from when you talked to your constituency? What types of trends were they talking about?
Yeah, I think that COD market, because the housing market, which again, it's so counterintuitive. We're in the middle of a pandemic, but people are moving because interest rates are incredibly low, all-time lows.
All
The
time.
prices of homes and what people can make on the selling of their home is incredibly high. And then people being able to find out that they can work remotely, they can move out of those high cost urban areas. So I was very surprised at what the market was for moving in the middle of a pandemic, and where we thought we were going to be losing members of the association left and right. This year we started our billing, invoicing for membership in for renewals in December. We're at an all-time high right now in terms of people re-upping to stay members of the association. We're down just to the last few, those hanger honors. Everybody has to go fight to get those invoices paid. But it's been a great year for us, where we thought, man, we're going to see so many people falling by the wayside because the economy just wasn't there. But for moving, it
How,
was okay.
how is the value proposition of associations changed? Due to COVID, but also just like on a macro level, right? How is
Well,
how is
I
the association of value deliver changing,
yeah,
and
well,
how are you changing with that? Sorry.
what we have to deliver is product and services in a very different way. It's got to be very web based. It's got to be webinars and webcasts. You're in the sweet spot right now. I think people every day, lucky for you, 4 o'clock, they take that break from work, probably at home, and they say, hey, let's go over to Facebook, let's go over to LinkedIn and see who Ben has today. I mean, that's become kind of the norm. And so we've had to figure out new ways to deliver our product and services. And I think we've been pretty successful at it. It seems that the response from our members has been very solid. And so we're going to continue to deliver more and more in that way. Still want to have our in-person events, but we have to deliver stuff for people.
Yeah, and let's talk about in-person events. And before we do that, let's go to the comments here and kind of just take people's temperature, no pun intended, on the shot situation. Okay, so Tim's going to Austin. Jake saying check your mic, Chuck.
Uh-oh.
Mic check, 1, 2. No,
Is
you're
that
good. You're good.
because the mic is covered up? Let me see what I can do here.
Yeah, it's good. Just take your shirt off, Chuck. You'll be all right. All right. Lakeland says, "What's up, fellas?" Mark Gray, hey guys in Atlanta.
Hey, Mark Gray.
Oh, Megan Harless.
All right. Megan is going, same kind of thing here. Megan was on a webcast that IAM did, Dan Bradley and I did last month, and was very well received. Had 100 or so people tune in for that. And Megan is going to be working with us, a group of military spouses and a number of TSPs. We're going to start meeting on a regular basis to talk about military spouse issues. We want to be able to try to educate from the movers perspective, and we're going to ask ATA and a couple folks from their association to come on, and we're really going to try to build relationships with the military spouses, with military families, so that we both the military side and the moving side have a better understanding of the experiences that each one has. If we come to a better understanding, I think we'll be able to do a better job for military families. So,
that's a fascinating idea, and probably a great idea for a meeting. And I can't help but think that probably also applies on the corporate transferee side as well. It'd be really interesting to talk to our corporate transferees, because in a weird way, there's a huge shift towards lump sum moving. And while it's not the GHC situation, it does indicate a bit of a dissatisfaction with the process from a customer perspective. So it'd be interesting to bring those private transfer, or not private transfer, those corporate transferees to the table.
Well, I love, and I think what our meeting did was take a baby step in that direction, because we were able to get corporates, we were able to get RMCs, we were able to get movers all in the same room to talk. And I really feel like at times there are these walls between each of those. We're almost afraid to talk to one another or lift the veil and see underneath the tent for fear, oh my God, somebody's going to steal my customer, or oh my God, the corporate's going to find out what we are doing and what we're trying. I mean, transparency ought to be the way that we're heading in. And the more we understand about what each other does and the idiosyncrasies involved in each of these different industries, I think we're building bridges. I don't think we're building walls, if and when that can happen. So IAM is definitely, we had, again, and we're talking about everything that I literally talked about today. You got a microphone in my office here or something?
I've tapped into that mic you wear on your lapel.
But we really want to try to build those bridges between these silos that have been set up, break those walls down. We're talking about, and really, I got to give it back to you. One of the things that you encouraged us to do at our virtual annual meeting was invite the corporates and the relos into the conference for free. Well, we're going to do the same thing for membership in IAM. Corporations and relocation management companies. Again, there might be some fine lines there between those. Some of those.
I was going to say, you got some forwarders. You got some forwarders who also are relo companies, so you got to be careful.
But we want to bring that group and make it attractive enough that there's not a barrier for them to consider joining IAM, and then we'll start to be able to communicate better, I think.
I love it. And speaking of which, here's Jack Champel, who attended the IAM conference. I know and got a lot out of it. Shout out to you, Jack, checking in here. Jack, love to hear your questions and comments here. In fact, Jack's reading my mind over here too. Jack's got a question here. Chuck, did you read my latest blog on lack of trust in the industry?
I did. And I appreciated that, because you are able to go out on that limb. I mean, that's a tough one to try to address, but I agree 100% with what you are saying. We've got to do a better job of building back that trust, because in the end, it's going to make it a better environment for the transferee. And I think all of us would agree that is ultimately the customer and who we should be trying to please. Building up walls doesn't allow us to do that.
Love it, Jack. Give me a synopsis there, Jack. I'd love to hear more about it. Do you
Always
think
great.
do you think there's particular things we can do just to stay on Jack's point here? Because again, voice of the client, voice of the customer. Do you think there's like particular takeaways that you might want to give to movers that might be watching this? Chuck, something maybe you learned from that, or anything you'd like to kind of
Yeah, I
speak?
mean, I just think it's not being afraid of, oh my God, this guy to my left who's a mover might be able to steal the jobs or the relationship that I have with this relocation manager. And the same thing for the relocation manager to the corporate side of the business. If you do your job and you do it well and you communicate well with wherever that customer lies in the chain, then your value to everyone around you increases. So there's no need to be afraid of somebody stealing something from you. And if you're not doing your job, then it doesn't matter how much in a silo you go into, you're going to lose those customers. So I think let's share information and ideas to how to do the job and meet the needs and expectations of the transferee. And if we do that, there's enough success to go around for everybody.
You bring up a good point that makes me think of something that IAM is super out front on, and that's standards.
Yep.
And you guys have been out front on this issue for a while, and standards have such a lot of there's a lot of facets to standards and standardization.
Yep.
But our industry doesn't move without standards. I mean, I think about the 20 and 40 foot,
Yeah.
shipping containers, right? I mean, things like that, right?
That's right.
So talk a little bit about some of the work that you're doing on standards and why you think it's so important.
Well, we did, again, transparency and outreach. We established a group called the Moving and Mobility Standards Alliance. And we have partnered with a number of moving associations and as well as their members to start to build standards that would allow data to flow seamlessly from organization to organization across disparate systems. So we've got FIDI, who is one of the larger international associations. We've got Omni, another group of international movers. We've just recently added in Worldwide ERC to this group. And what we are trying to do is dialogue with some of the subject matter experts that are within all of those organizations to build standards for at least for the moving piece, end to end transmission of data. And so we're bringing in the IT companies, we're bringing in the association staff, we're bringing in really a number of different interested parties that can help us start down this process. We were a standards developer and developed an inventory standard. That was our first foray into the building of standards. And it is an ISO, an International Standards Organization standard, an official standard. And we talked about, you mentioned GHC. They've adopted our standard for the use in the global household good contract. So if you are utilizing some type of mobile technology that does inventory, then it must be built on our standards so that, again, it facilitates the movement of that data.
Well, and so a lot of people are probably like, okay, what does that got to do with me, right? And what's the use case really for standards,
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a dry topic, I think, until you discover how dynamic the end result can be, right?
Yeah.
And I think the standards and the lack of a uniform language that we're speaking is the reason that our systems don't talk to one another. It's the reason that every move coordinator has a stack of manila folders on their desk and we're sending emails back and forth, cutting and pasting and putting attachments and maxing out our inboxes all the time because we don't have standards and therefore we don't have APIs and EDIs enabling us to talk and share information.
You've got all the right words, all the words that I've learned in this process. Don't know anything about them, but I've learned those words. No, but just think about something as simple as somebody's name and address. Do you put the first name first? Do you put the last name first? Do you call
Do
it
you use a
surname?
middle name?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
You call it surname, you call it last name, all of those kinds of
Mhm.
things. So that, and this, just think of how many times in the process of a person, particularly in the international arena, moving from Dallas, Texas to London, England, how many people touch that? You know how many people type in that person's name into their system? Wouldn't it be nice if you had a single place to go for anybody that's in that supply chain to be able to bring that data seamlessly without retyping it, without fat fingering it, and bring that data seamlessly into your system, regardless of the system that you use now?
So what do we need to do as the community? I'm huge on crowdsourcing. As the community that is watching this right now, we got a bunch of people on LinkedIn, we got a bunch of people on Facebook. Hit that like button right now. Let everybody else know to come check this out. But you're talking to the people right now, Chuck. What can we do to support that effort? How can we
Well,
get involved? How can we help you?
here's what you need to do. You need to ask your system providers. Everybody has their own either commercial off the shelf product or a product that they develop themselves, or however they've got a move management system and somebody that they work with on that. Tell them to think about working with this alliance to be able to get these standards in place and then adopt them. One of the problems we had with the inventory standards is there are 10 or 12 different companies that do electronic inventories, but they've all written their own code. They've all got their own internal standard for what they do, but they don't talk to one another. But until the customer says, I want this to happen, I want to move this data seamlessly between company A and company B, they've got no motivation to do it. So we've got to get with our IT providers. We've got to see the relocation management companies and the corporate clients say, we want to move data too. We want to move it in and out of our system seamlessly. You guys need to build these standards. When the customer asks for it, then the providers will make it happen.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear from the customers out there, the RMCs out there, the movers out there, software, whomever's out there. What are your thoughts on standards, right? Because on the one hand, I could see the corporate relocation manager, right, the client, saying, yeah, that sounds nice to have, but that's really your problem, moving industry.
Yeah,
Like, listen,
but they want that data too. They want that data, or they want to push that data. And they don't want to have to type an email to you. They don't want to have, the consultant within their office pushing C when it should have been B, and the guy's name is Bub, and it came out Cub, and all of that kind of stuff. We can reduce the error, build efficiency. With efficiencies comes cost savings. It's a no-brainer once we get there.
yeah, and Jack here says we need to prioritize. There's so much opportunity. We talk the talk, but can't appear to walk the walk. I identify trust. Will I be able to walk the walk? Jack, I appreciate the ownership here. I'd love to know, in this situation that Chuck is describing with having seamless transfer of data and using similar terms and APIs. Jack, do you see a business case? Jack, Vinny, we got several folks on here. Anybody else, feel free to chime in. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Vinny.
Do you see a business case where the HRIS system can push these orders directly to the service providers, whether it be the RMC or the moving company? Because if that's happening, then I can totally see where the client becomes a stakeholder in the conversation.
Yep.
I
think it's going to be imperative and really on the industry. I'm talking moving industry now. If we want this to happen, we need to bring it to people on a silver platter. That's why we're working on this now. But with Worldwide ERC involved, with other moving organizations, associations involved, I think that there is some trust, going back to Jack's topic, that can be built there. We as nonprofits, I'm not looking to benefit from it necessarily financially. I'm looking to benefit from adding a value-added service for our membership. And if they're more efficient, then they're making more money. They keep giving money to me to remain in my membership.
That's right. That's right. I think and that's the way to look at it, right? It's the rising tide lifts all ships kind of thing, right?
That's right.
And
Very good.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Let's see here. Patrick Marble, Chuck, you're doing a great job, as Terry before you, in bridging the gap between the movers and the relo companies.
You really want to do that. Thank you very much for that, Patrick. Yeah, my predecessor Terry Head, I give all kudos to him. 21 years when he took over our organization, I think they had enough for one set of paychecks in the bank for the staff, and there was only about 4 in the staff at that point. And he really has built up our membership. We're well over 2,000 member companies in 170 countries, and feel very, very blessed with the success of our organization.
Yeah, you both of you have run it so well. Elizabeth Soley says, hello, Chuck and Ben, checking in from Stanford. What's up, Elizabeth?
Hey.
Mark Gray, call to action. I'm going to join the IAM tomorrow. I need 2 current IAM members to sponsor me. Help.
Oh, we'll get you some members to sponsor.
Can 2 people put in the comments right now if they're willing to help the poor Mark Gray down there in Atlanta?
Well, Mark's doing a great job to help them to get personnel in their organizations. Everybody needs to be sponsoring Mark.
There you go. That's it. Yeah, Mark's been a great resource for the industry here. Arizona's in the house. Henri Dussoir from France is in the house.
All right.
Yeah, see, I get a little culture every once in a while. Henri from France and Bordeaux. Let's see here. George Phillips is saying Chuck did a great presentation for the Arizona Moving Association a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm out there, buddy. I'm like you. I've got a string in the back of my neck. You just pull that sucker, I start talking. So
Seriously.
George, thanks for having me out with your group.
I love it. I love it. Cindy Salter checking in. Hello from Dallas. Nice to see you, Chuck.
Great to see Cindy. Yeah, Cindy, we go way back there. We were in the GSA arena and all kinds of stuff. We go back.
Let's see here. So we asked before how many people have gotten their shot. Let's see if people are getting their shots or not here. Victoria, second shot this Friday. Hey, me too, Victoria. Maybe I'll see you down there. I don't know if you're going to be. I'm getting mine at UT Southwestern. Maybe we can carpool. Let's see here. We got a driver in the house. What's up, Stephen Meyer?
All right, there's the backbone. Yeah, interesting. He had the Wreaths Across America posted there. That's something that IAM is going to be supporting in 2021. We had a call today, going to sign a memorandum of understanding with them and really try to do some fundraising for that group. That's near and dear to me. My dad is was a retired Army officer and is buried in. I'll get choked up. He's buried in a national cemetery, and so the idea of laying wreaths at those is near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, that's incredible. Real quick, tell people what Wreaths Across America does.
Sure, Wreaths Across America is a group that at Christmas time they first off have to haul hundreds of thousands of wreaths that come out of Maine, and they distribute them not only around the continental US, but around the world, hoping to lay a wreath at Christmas time on the grave of every single former serviceman that's in a national cemetery or a cemetery that's owned and run by the US. So, that obviously the giant one is at Arlington Cemetery, where there are literally hundreds of thousands of wreaths that are laid. But my dad's at a smaller cemetery in the Washington, D.C. area in a place called Quantico. And, they just do an amazing job, have volunteers galore, trucking companies that agree to help them haul the wreaths around the country, and groups that fill those containers up you were talking about and send those wreaths around the world and try to have a wreath on every former serviceman's grave.
It's a great cause. A lot of respect there. Lisa checking in. Jose has got both his shots. Mark Gray's got both his shots.
Well, how's Hosea got both those shots? He's a young man.
He's a young man, but he's got his liver transplant. So he got both his shots. Yeah.
True that.
Yeah, Jim Welsh retired, had second shot Tuesday. What's up, Jim? Good to see you. So that's actually a great transition into the IAM conference.
Yeah.
Right. So now that we're all getting our shots here, Chuck's got one. I'm getting mine on Friday. Everybody's got their shots. Please get your COVID vaccination. Don't believe the hype. Get the vaccination. Do everyone a favor. I know it's super hard to get it. If you're Group 1A, Group 1B, get it. But Chuck, so what's the plan for IAM conference, which is probably my favorite conference of the year?
Well, thank you for saying that. So 2,000 or so of your closest friends coming together. But we are planning this year to have an in-person meeting in Orlando, Florida, at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando, Florida, right on International Drive, October 13 through 16.
Can we just say International Jive should be a conference theme? That should be a conference theme that y'all do on your International Jive.
Nothing slips by on this broadcast, does it? Golly, man, you've got to be articulate to deal with you.
I know, it's terrible. It's terrible.
You get called out for anything. So, yeah, we're going to do an in-conference. I'm telling people right now, we're doing an in-person conference. The shots are going to be there. We're going to see a reduction in COVID, almost to the point of nil, I think, or I'm hoping by then. Big thing for us, it's a huge international conference. So we're bringing in people from around the world. So immigration is a critical piece, being able to obtain visas and be able to get back into the United States and attend the conference. So there's something that's out of our control, but we're really hoping that will all be taken care of by the time we get to October. But the other piece of this, we learned so much from the annual conference that we did last year that was totally virtual. And Ben, you were a big part of that success of that. So what we're going to try to do is a hybrid meeting. We learned a lot from the
hybrid. Okay.
We're going to do, and well, you're going to be playing a huge role. There you go. So we have the in-person event. Then we're going to do a virtual aspect of the event, and we're going to bring the two together. And Mr. Ben Cross is going to be that bridge. So,
all right.
Yeah, you're going to be like spinning the ones and twos.
You're
going to be the DJ for this thing. And really to be able to give not only, what you see on the screen and see a panel discussion, but we're probably going to have a few roving reporters going around to give people a feel in the virtual environment what it's like to be there. So you're going to have, we've already started talking about building you a big DJ booth type thing in the middle.
We're going to get like a set. Like I want it to be like an ESPN game day set, it's
go.
like,
we're going to work it for you.
Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit, and like Desmond Howard up there, we got all the crazy fans out
back. Put a big head on. You're gonna put a big IAM head on.
We'll put a big, like the big Alabama, I don't know, elephant or whatever. We'll put the Lee Corso deal on. No, but I think that'd be so cool because then people could get a flavor for the conference because, the IAM conference is unlike anything you've experienced. If you haven't been to the IAM conference, the energy is so high. The networking is fast and furious. There's dancing, there's cocktails, there's theater. The way the ceremony, the closing ceremony and the dinner and everything. And, you go to most conferences, you get the chicken or the filet, but you go to the IM conference and like the food is amazing and desserts and just like, it's an experience for the senses and it's going to be in Orlando. So, I think it's going to be just
what we're trying to do is give those folks that aren't able to attend a little lower price point, but still get a real feel for what's going on. Just not a bunch of panels and you're just going to sit there and look at some screen, but you're going to see that man on the scene. You're going to have that guy that's in the bar saying, what's going on and how you feeling, and say hello to your friends and really get that experience of, I couldn't get on that plane this year, or I'm a coordinator at this company and they don't pay for me to come, but they are going to pay this little lower price point to be able to participate on some level so that when I get to be a big boy or girl, then I can know what I'm getting into when I get there.
Yeah, I mean, how cool is that? I mean, the coordinators still deal with people all over the
Of
world,
course. Yeah,
but they can't actually get to go to the big show.
that's
So at
right.
least they can dial in, they can see the people, you can get a feel for people. I mean, I still think there's going to be a tremendous value for being in person because when you're watching it from a hybrid experience, you can see and you can take it in, but it's harder to be seen, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
that's right. No, it
But I
makes
think
all the sense.
there's still significant value though, because you can also poke around and it condenses the value for the virtual, in my opinion, because now I'm geeking out on conference theory right now, is that you can actually consolidate the whole thing in your screen and you can
Yeah,
click around. Whereas I'd have to like walk half a block over here to go find something out. And
yeah.
so and so may not be there. Now I can just kind of think, kind of click around, message people. It like really condenses and consolidates everything in one place.
That's the experience exactly that we're hoping to give folks. So again, virtual was our first experience in that realm. And I do think that people are hungry to be able to interact with people. I mean, by the
Starving,
time we,
Chuck.
yep, I think so. By the time we get to October, there's going to be many people who have not been to any kind of organized event like this in 2 years. And they're dying to get out and engage with their friends, their business partners. Trying to build relationships, maintain relationships, and just sit at a bar and have a cocktail with somebody you've been to that conference with for 20 years. But then there's those others that are going to be able to look over your shoulder virtually and see, hey, what's going on there?
Dude, I got
So
some great ideas, Chuck. I got some
good.
great ideas. We
Well,
got to
good.
put our
You better
noggins
bring them
together
along.
here.
I'm going to pay you for it. So you
I
better
do.
bring those
I do. And
ideas,
I got to
please.
shout you out, Chuck, because honestly, on a side note, you brought that up. I told my wife says, "Oh, who you got on the show today?" Right? It's a conversation. Who you got on the show today? I was like, "I got Chuck White." She's like, "Oh, Chuck, he's my favorite." I'm like, "What do you mean he's
Oh,
your
there
favorite?"
you go.
I
There
said,
you
I said,
go.
"Come say hi to him." And she's like, "No, no, I'm going to take a
Oh,
nap.
you
This
tell
is her
her I
nap
want
time.
next time. I want to see her.
This is her nap time." I know. Imagine if we got Becky and Olivia together.
Oh, Lord.
Maybe at the next conference. I know, right?
Woo, that could get ugly.
But no, I said, well, why is Chuck your favorite? She's like, because she's like, because Chuck was one of your first big clients, you know.
I know.
And honestly, Chuck, on a serious note, I have to thank you so much because without you, I don't know that I would be doing this right here, right now, full time, right now, and have Glomo and everything. So I just
Well,
want to
well,
say,
thanks.
Chuck, thank you so much. I am everybody, your whole team. Brian has always been super forward thinking. You've always been
Yep.
ahead of the curve on things. And thank you just so much for having trust in me and my vision and my ability to help y'all
Well,
navigate.
that you just said it, your ability. If you didn't have the ability, we wouldn't be we wouldn't be talking to you, Ben.
Is that a
You're
veiled
a
threat?
personality now in the moving industry. Oh, he's a person. There's Ben. There's Ben. So you better tell your wife watch out for
Hey,
you.
hey, hey, hey! What happens in Orlando? Okay, it's all G rated. I promise you that. Okay, don't start rumors on me, Chuck. All right, I'm good. I'm a good boy here. Let's talk about your cat.
Yeah,
Elizabeth has
I
your
see.
cat
Elizabeth
on
likes the
on
cat.
lesson. There you go. Marco saw the cat. Marco says we were a virtual vendor during the IAM conference last year. It was outstanding. Very much looking forward to continued participation.
Well, great. I think you mean an exhibitor, and if that's the case, if you're going to be in person, you're going to get the virtual package for free. So you'll be able to move in and out of that. Even have some folks possibly, if you are bringing people to the in-person meeting, we'll have our normal exhibit hall. You may have people back at the office involved on the virtual side, and they can then do the whole exhibition, exhibiting, marketing thing in their office at home. Yeah, so it really is going to, I think, give you the best of both worlds. And I am just incredibly excited if we can pull it off. I think we did a baby steps last year. We're taking on even a bigger task. I just don't want to keep doing the same thing. I want to do different things. I want to do exciting things.
Thank goodness, man, because so many conferences you turn up to, and you could tell it's just a rehash of last year. You could tell they
Yeah,
just whipped the program out from last year. You got the same days, the same start, the same end, the same amount of
yeah,
sessions, and they just reboot it every year.
yeah.
And what's cool about COVID, unfortunately, but what's cool about COVID is it's made us rethink everything. And
Oh,
it's
that's
like, well,
under,
while we're at it,
yeah.
why not make it better than it
Yeah,
was last year,
yeah.
right?
Throw
And so
throw
last
normal out the window the new normal is coming, and it's got to be bigger and better because people have come to expect it. You have
Yeah,
to bring them in. You have to engage them. It's not enough to keep the status quo.
for sure. And Fernando from the Dominican Republic says, I have a feeling there's going to be so much activity in the nights of the next conference.
I sure as heck hope so, Fernando. You got to be there. That's the thing.
Yeah,
You got to be there.
got to be there for sure. Vinny says, October 13th, nothing like celebrating my birthday at the IAM conference in
Oh, that
Florida.
Vinny. I knew I loved Vinny. Vinny's a Libra. I'm October 5. So, brother, we got that thing going on. I like it.
There you go. There you go. Let's see. Vinny's got his wife getting her second shot this Thursday. That's great.
Nice.
Bring the family. Go to Orlando, Vinny. I think
Well,
I'm going to
that's
do the
the other
same thing.
thing. And that when we have had the meeting in Orlando in the past, it's been really a family gathering because there's that opportunity. I mean, we are on International Drive, and if I don't know if you've ever been in Orlando, your listeners, but yeah, that is the hub of Orlando, and you're a simple ride over to Universal or Disney or any of the other theme parks, and there's just so much there to do for a family that people use this as a business trip, but also a vacation for them.
Yeah, for sure. Vinny says, adding to Patrick's comment, Chuck, you and the IAM team provided an amazing IAM conference last year. We
Wow.
need to put the word out there that the IAM conference is one of the
Well,
best.
Vinny, I mean, it was really good, and you were a big part of that. So thank you very much for that. But we've got to get you to the live event because it's that virtual one on steroids. Virtual was good, but man, just
It's off the chain.
yeah,
It's off
just
the chain.
just
Yeah.
rest up and get your drinking legs on because it's about 72 hours straight.
You know what I look forward to. I mean, the networking's always amazing. The entertainment's always amazing. I'm looking forward to combining that with the virtual, the digitized experience, but also continuing to bolster the thought leadership that we
Yeah.
that we did last year. We did a
Yep.
lot of thought leadership, bringing clients to the table, bringing the Jacks and the Vinnies and Tanya and Kerwin and Susan
Oh yeah.
Benavides and Bill Gray. I mean, just the list goes on to the
That's right.
table, and just kind of building on that voice
Yeah.
of the client,
Yep.
and I just
No,
gonna be so excited.
yeah, I'm really excited about that. I mean, we brought in, we do this thing. It's the world, and but everybody's not able to travel. Everybody, i- again, on the corporate or the relo side, didn't really know necessarily about IAM. But when you get to that conference, it's amazing. But if you can't, and there's this virtual element that you can still participate in and bring your, as you say, your thought leadership into that conference that way. I mean, we brought in people from Asia, from Europe, I'm literally from all over the world to be able to share ideas on mobility. And I thought, man, look what that's going to do for our conference in the future. So I'm excited.
100%.
Thank you.
Jack says this is a great virtual conference. Thanks for the opportunity to participate and add value to your organization.
You did add
Megan's saying, are Disney tickets included in the conference package? I joke, but really?
value. Well, Megan, we'll have to talk offline, Megan. For a good word at the transcom level from you, Megan, you don't know what we might be able to do for
Well, I mean,
you.
how cool would it be? We tack on another couple $100 of registration. Everybody that attends in person gets to go to Disney and brings the family, and everybody hangs out for the weekend. It could be fun. Could
Yep.
be a good time here. Who knows? I'd love to hear really quickly if you have any thoughts or suggestions while we're getting everybody jazzed about the upcoming IAM conference in October. If you have any suggestions, it's not too early to incorporate those in the plans. I'm signing Chuck up for some super ambitious, really cool wow factor stuff. So put those in the comments if there's things you'd like to see. Um, Disney tickets, we'll leave that on the list because I think I'm going to bring my family as well. But yeah,
Megan's
throw them in the
buying.
comments. Love to hear those.
Amen.
Speak
That's the kind of feedback that we need to make this the best conference that it can possibly be. No doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Look at this. Jake saying Mark Grant posting an ad on LinkedIn right now for military move coordinator. Help me place a qualified candidate, and I'll
Look,
sponsor you for IAM membership.
look, there you go. That's it.
Oh,
Wow. Wow. This is the kind of thing that happens on the Ben Cross Love and Relo show. Come
That's
on, man.
it. That's it. That's what we do. See, we all network around here, don't we? Now,
That's it.
but no, you mentioned the global household goods contract and Transcom and everything like that. I'm
Yep.
kind of burying the lead here a little bit, but we have this big kind of thing hanging out there in the GHC. You and I have been talking about this for a long time, and we've been teasing the heck out of it. We've been trying to bring people updates as they're happening. But
Right.
Chuck, where do we stand now? Give people really quick just a refresher on the size, scope of the contract, and then where we
Okay.
stand now.
First off, size and scope. The U.S. Department of Defense is the largest shipper of household goods in the world, bar none, nothing close. You see different numbers, 350, 400,000, something like that, shipments annually to the tune of about a 2.5 billion with a B transportation spend just on household goods annually. They've rolled out a contract that, public records indicate that the total bid over the full life of the contract was around $20 billion over about 8 years. So obviously, that opens up a lot of eyes. And what it was very interesting as we started this process, all of the different companies that had never have had anything to do with household good moving that built consortiums to be able to bid on this contract because of those numbers. Companies like Deloitte, a big government contractor, KBR, Kellogg Brown and Root, a subsidiary of one of the huge government contractors, Crowley, which is a huge logistics company. A number, again, people that have not been directly involved with household goods, but when you start throwing those kinds of numbers around, they're interested in that. And so we had a number of groups that bid on that contract. One that had American roll-on, roll-off carriers, ARC, was the principal on the contract. They were the award winner on the contract. A couple of the others protested that to the Government Accountability Office, GAO. And interesting, it doesn't happen that often. About 15% of the time, both of those protests were sustained, meaning they
What
were
does that
upheld.
mean? Yeah, okay,
I
sustained
mean,
means like meaning they were credible. They were found to have
that's
some
correct.
credibility
They
to them.
found
Okay.
merit with the arguments that the protesters made to the contract. So the contract was pulled from ARC. They went through a rebid process, which those bids were due 2nd of December, 2020. They just had oral arguments, not arguments, oral presentations. They weren't arguing. Oral presentations at the end of January for the three entities that decided to do this rebid. And now they have said that the award, which was scheduled to come out in June of this year, has been pushed to no earlier than, is what I was told by the director at US Transcom for household goods, no earlier than September of this year. Then there's a 9-month transition before that they start the contract. That would be right on the cusp of peak season in 2022. So I don't think they want to start it then. So I think the contract award would eventually start now, probably in the fall of 2022. That is, if we don't see more protest come out of that award, because that's just the way the government contracting goes now.
Right, because they have their final three. It used to be final four. One dropped out. They got final three now. They took them. They all resubmitted. They took all of them under consideration. They were supposed to announce a new decision. This
Yep.
would be the third decision in a way because they took the
Yep.
back out.
Yep.
Anyway, and the first two times they came up with the same winners. If they re-award, they could very well not come up with the same winner. They could come up with the
Yep.
previous second or third place.
Again, this is a whole new go round with a whole new set of proposals, a whole new set of numbers associated with the bid. So they're taking a slow and steady approach with the evaluation of the different bids.
And now, if they award it to your point, if they award it to the previous losers and now they get awarded, then the one who it was taken from might object and protest that award, which then kind
100%.
of does this whole deal again. That's so interesting. So now, and the other thing that some people don't realize or talk about maybe is that there's supposed to be a change of leadership, I think, within
Yeah.
US Transcom
Right.
during this time. Has that already occurred or?
No, it hasn't. The current general, Stephen Lyons, is the current 4-star general that runs U.S. Transportation Command, Transcom. And they are the entity that oversees the DoD, Department of Defense's moving program. They're the program manager for that. And he was really the initiator of this idea to go to a single company handling 350,000 shipments a year. But he, as they do in the military, they cycle through different groups. His time at Transcom is up approximately in the June timeframe. We understand through a number of articles that a nomination for his replacement, because that has to go through Congress. It's a nomination, just like positions at all the different agencies. When you have a new administration come in, you have to have a nomination and it has to be vetted by Congress. And it's interesting because the person who is going to be nominated, we believe, it's a woman, and she is coming from what's called the Air Mobility Command, which is a building literally one block away from Transcom. So she'll have to just walk an extra block from her house to get to her new job. But looks like she's going to be her nomination will be upheld. And in the June, somewhere June to maybe the end of August timeframe, you'll see a new Transcom commander step in. And the question then is, what's her philosophy? Is she going to be as fully on board with this initiative as General Lyons was? And what's going to happen? Yeah, I'd say likely so, because it's going to be really on the cusp of an award of the contract. So we'll just have to see how that goes.
Wow. That's so interesting. I bet a lot of people are pulling her moving files to see what kind of score she gave over the last 10 years to her movers to see where she stands.
Yeah, see what her mentality is. That's right. That's right.
She had a bunch of 12s or what? What's going
on
there?
And for your group that's on here that doesn't do anything with military, there's tons of movers that don't, and or relocation management companies, et cetera. I would just say keep an eye on this. Understand what's going on here. When an entity gets that much business, you're talking 20%, maybe a little more, of the entire world moving market is placed in the hands of a single group. What else are they going to be then looking at? They can control pricing, they control capacity, they control a lot of things in the marketplace, or have a heck of a say-so about it. And then, that's that. If you are involved in, I've seen some folks that are involved in the GSA program, the Department of State program. Those are other government programs that operate independently. But does it make sense necessarily for the government to allow for these other smaller programs to exist when you've got this one giant running the bulk of government household good movement? So there's so many ramifications for this, so many dominoes that can fall. That's all I ever say to groups. Just keep an eye on it, because it may not be tomorrow, but at some point, this is going to have an effect on your business if you're in the moving industry.
Well, what do you think that effect would be, though? Let's play that through just for a moment. I want to ask everybody out there watching this too. I know a lot of people are watching this. Fernando, Megan, Jack, Lakeland, Mark Gray, Vinny. I mean, I just want to call some people out here. Just Hosea, Henri. I'd love to just ask the experts out here. Cindy Salter. I'd love to know if you're watching right now. What do you think the impact is to your business from your perspective, depending on which way this award goes? Depending on which van line team wins this, do you see a change in the way your business is serviced or your impact to your day to day?
I don't necessarily want to make it sound that it's all terrible. We just don't know. It's the fear of the unknown. I mean, how will the winner of this contract jockey and position themselves, and how will they deal with the real boots on the ground, at the curb, those guys that walk into the house? How are they going to be treated? Will it be better? Will it be worse? I just don't think anybody knows. And that uncertainty is really what's driving, I think, concern for many segments of the industry.
So we have a household goods driver weighing in. Stephen Meyer, the final GHC holder, is going to pay like dog doo-doo.
I'm not sure. I just don't know. That if they are smart, they're not going to take all of the cream off of the top. They're going to make the environment as positive as they can across the industry, because they obviously can't have success without the drivers, without the guys that are walking in the house doing the packing and the loaders, etc. If they do, it's almost like cutting off your nose to spite your face. But it'll be very interesting to see. And I say that because many of these companies are publicly traded companies. They've got shareholders. So if they do, who are they beholding to? Are they going to be beholding to the industry? Are they going to be beholding to their customers at DoD? Are they going to be beholding to their shareholders? So it's going to be very interesting to see. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I don't want to be all negative.
No, why be all negative?
I love the way you say that. You can, I can't.
No, I mean, obviously there's a lot of green, as they say in pool here. There's a lot of things that can happen between now and then. There's a distinct possibility the longer this drags on that something doesn't happen, and that it just kind of loses steam, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So it's interesting. Marco says this is going to help tear down the walls between competitors, as there will have to be discussions of cooperation in order to handle the mind-boggling volume this award will bring. Yeah, but Marco, I would say that's what's happening now. That is the current state of affairs. That is where all the major van lines interline tonnage with one another and the independents, and all end up at dispatchers buying buckets of Bud Light over there, trying to get him to convince him to go out to Fort Leonard Wood in June and pick something up. So I mean, that level of cooperation and collaboration is the current state, I believe. I can't imagine it gets more collaborative, although I do agree that one entity will not be able to service us all. So it will be interesting. Megan says, whoever wins the contract, whatever program we're operating in, I have to hope it is the best. Of course, 100%. We have to work to make it the best. Poor results will result in many leaving the military and ultimately becomes a national security issue. Yeah. PCSing is the number 2 stressor for military families and a big reason why many chose to walk away.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Great point, Megan.
Moving is incredibly stressful. And when you are forced to move, a military member can't say, I don't want to move this week. When you're forced to move and you're told to move, then there's no question it's a stressor. Does the spouse have to take a new job? Do the kids have to change schools? What are all the different pieces that need to fall into play? Completely get that. So, again, whatever program we have to operate under, I hope movers are incredibly intelligent people. They are able to, make that bad thing look mighty good.
That's a man talking to his constituency right there. Movers are incredibly intelligent people.
Elect me.
All right. Hey, you know what? This is great. And Megan, you're right. I wish the best, because at the end of the day, it's all about the military families and the spouses and
amen.
And all the folks. Last comment here on this: whoever it is, their price is going to be fixed for 7 years. When a business can't raise their price, how do they increase their earnings? Which is always the goal of enterprise. They put pressure on their costs. So, like Stephen Meyer says, movers are.
Well, that's a point. There's no question about it. People are bidding on a contract now that may be in place 8, 9 years from now? How in the world can you predict what pricing should be?
Yeah. All right, Chuck. This was fun, but let's have even more fun. You like games, Chuck?
I like games.
You like games? All right, here we go. We're taking the
Uh-oh.
jacket off for this.
Taking his
All
jacket
right.
off. This is
We're
getting
taking the we're
serious.
taking we're taking the jacket off. All right. All right, here we go. All right, Chuck. Um, Chuck, you got a top five for us today, right?
I do have a top 5 for you.
All right, Chuck, let's do this here. I know we're a little over time, but Chuck, a lot of people don't know you played a little foosball, Bobby. All right.
Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher. Yeah, man. I didn't really realize until we known each other for a long time, but you played ball in college. Where'd you play?
I played at the University of Maryland. Maryland
Go
Terps.
Terps.
Yeah, man.
Nice. Go Terps. Okay. Okay. So tell us about your top five today, Chuck.
Well, you asked me a question about who were the top 5 football players that I played against in college. And so, do you want me to run these down now?
Number five.
Number
Gather,
5.
gather round, kids.
When I was a sophomore in college, we played against the University of Alabama at Byrd Stadium in College Park. I was so upset. We missed a field goal at the end, should have beat University of Alabama. But they had a tight end named Ozzie Newsome, who played in the NFL for, I don't know, a dozen years, ended up being just retiring as the general manager for the Baltimore Ravens. A tremendous guy, brilliant guy, but a hell of a
I was
player.
gonna say, first of all, Ozzie Newsome being number five on this list. I mean, he's
Yeah.
I think a Hall of Fame or a borderline if he's not. If he's not. Second of all, you're talking about a guy that retired at least twice in his career, and you're still working. Okay, so okay, okay. And
That's why
so,
my name's not on this list.
but I'll be honest. I'll be honest. You look a lot better than Ozzie does. So what's your secret? You must have been.
I didn't get hit for 12 or 15 years in the NFL. That's why.
There you go. There you go.
I got a few brain cells left, at
There
least
you
a
go.
few.
There you go. That's great. Well, that's a great number five. He's supposed to be super revered by all the players too. He's supposed
Yep.
to be a real players
Yep.
guy,
Yep.
and he put
Great guy.
together some amazing teams for the Ravens
Yeah. Yeah.
for a lot
Yeah.
of years.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the architect of all their great teams. Yep.
I mean, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. I mean, some real. I mean, Suggs. I mean, some great players.
Look at you dropping those nuggets. Look at you.
I mean, hey. I mean, if you can win a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. All right, number four.
One nobody's ever heard of, a kid named Jeff Nixon. So, okay, you just got to listen to my story with Jeff.
Talk to me.
I went to high school in Northern Virginia. Jeff and I played against each other at the rival high schools. I went to Maryland. He went to the University of Richmond. He was a free safety. So I played against him directly. Of course, I scored a touchdown against him. You know, that's a whole nother thing. But Jeff went on to play for Buffalo in the NFL for a number of years and was part of some of their Super Bowl appearances. I won't say wins, appearances, and was one heck of a football player. So, you know, people don't know that. He went to at the time, a 1AA school, but played about 6 or 7 years in the NFL, started at free safety, and was a heck of a player.
We're getting, that is the Richmond Spiders.
The Spiders,
100%.
there you go.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and we're getting some people who are on my side here. You're saying Ozzie Newsome, number five?
Wait till you see some of the other names. Come on, man.
That's what's up here. And Tim Quirk from Western New York, giving some love out to Jeff Nixon.
Oh, that's right. He's a Buffalo guy. He ought to know that. He's up there in Northern New York.
All right, man. I'm intrigued. I mean, let me ask you this. Jeff Nixon, he was a safety.
Safety.
Did he? I know you scored a touchdown. Did he ring your bell good one time or two?
We didn't want to talk about that. He was about 6'4", about 200, 210, and could run a little bit. And yeah, he could strike a blow. He could strike a blow. Yeah.
All right. I love these stories. I'm so happy we're doing this. Thank you, Chuck. Number three.
Matt Millen. I don't know if you know who that is. Also, all these guys, they're all smart guys. Matt Millen ended up as the general manager of the Detroit Lions. He wasn't quite as good as Ozzie Newsome, but
I
you
say
know,
you
it
say
was
smart
Detroit
guy, and
Lions.
then you say GM of Detroit Lions. I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, no, for me, I know all these guys as broadcasters, but you
Yeah,
played
yeah.
against them,
Yeah,
so
well, he was a defensive lineman at Penn State, but played linebacker in the NFL for a number of teams. I mean, he was, hell, I don't know, at least 12, 13-year veteran in the NFL, and he was a man on the defensive line. I mean, he was a man.
Penn State is known as linebacker U, but Matt
Yeah,
Millen lined up at defensive end. I didn't
yeah.
know that.
He lined up as a down defensive end, but when he got to the NFL, stood up. He was a great player. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Falia, Matt Millen, GM of Lions, and a great
Oh, I'm
player at
bringing
Penn
him out
State.
now. Now this is getting some people up. Oh, he played for the Raiders. That's right, Marco.
Yeah, there we go. All
Oh,
right.
because Dan said, oh, because it's Penn State. I almost didn't even put him in there because Dan works on my staff and he's a Penn Stater through and through. And oh God, it hurt me.
This is great. This is great. All right, I'm having so much fun with this. This is the kind of stuff we would talk about at the IM conference
Oh,
over a
at the
beer.
bar. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
This
100%.
is
This
at
is
least
great.
3 beers in, I think.
This is great. I'm just like, just tell me another one. Number 2.
Well, this is a man, the manster, they used to call him, that I played with at University of Maryland. He played for the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, you know him, but he won the Outland Trophy in his senior year. I'm not sure that Randy White ever got blocked in his entire senior year. He would just stand there, hold somebody, throw them away, and go make the tackle. He was, and I used to have, so back in the day, us wide receivers would be out there and they would say, oh, power formation, meaning they wouldn't bring in another tight end. We're coming in tight. And so we used to have to try to line up in practice and block Randy White. The biggest joke ever. He looked at me and went, bing, like that. I went flying and away he went. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's when the coach is like, just go low, and you're like,
Yeah.
what, man?
Come on. Go get him. You go get him.
Go for his shoes, go for his laces.
Yeah. I
Oh
would
my
fall down
gosh.
into the fetal position, is what I would do.
Oh, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. Randy White named one of the top 100 players of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
William
practice
Wiggins.
with him every single day. Oh my God.
Yeah,
You talk
William
about,
Wiggins, another
I'm
Cowboy
surprised I don't
fan.
have brain loss, memory loss.
You, William Wiggins, Hosea need to come down here. We're going to do a Dallas Cowboys game in the fall, post COVID. Once we get our shots, we're going to a game. We're going to do a barbecue. We'll tailgate. It'll be great.
I'm
We'll call
ready.
it an offsite. We'll do a strategy
You,
meeting. We'll do whatever we got to do.
you don't have to ask me twice. I'm
Where
there.
you guys all come over, hang out, stay over here at Casa Cross over here. I'll kick the family out. It'll be great. All right, number 1.
Lawrence Taylor. Oh my God.
What? You
Was
play with LT?
I played against LT? Oh my God. I got blown up. That it's terrible to wear that badge of courage, that badge of honor, that I got destroyed by Lawrence Taylor. He was a sophomore at the time. Nobody really knew who he was at UNC. And I had a slant route over the middle, and he turned and looked at me, and I know he was salivating and just,
Just bring it.
it wasn't on that hit, but it was similar to a hit I had where I got hit, caught the ball that time, and again got blown up. But I ran to the sidelines only to find out that the other team was turning me around and sending me back to the other side because I was so discombobulated. I ran to the wrong sideline.
You ran
So,
to the wrong side. Would you have your helmet on backwards too?
yeah, it was almost one of those. So, but Lawrence Taylor definitely did one of those numbers on me, and I got to know who that young man was very, very quickly.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Michael Flea, baddest man on the planet.
Yeah, he was. I'm telling you, he was. I know firsthand.
Let's see here. It's a compliment to get blown up by the great LT.
I didn't think of it at that moment. Let me tell you what.
Well, yeah, I mean, did you know that he was going to be who who he was in that moment, or was it still like, did you just think he
No,
got like a lucky
he was a
shot on you?
sophomore at that time and had, started to make a name for himself, no question about it. Even, that's like a Michael Jordan, kind of the first time you see him, you're like, oh, that's somebody special. And we knew he was somebody special, but you never knew he was going to go on. I mean, how do you know? I honestly thought Randy White was going to do that because I saw him every single day. But
Right.
Lawrence Taylor, we saw him on film, played against him. I graduated, and then he became maybe the greatest defensive football player of all time. So,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
no.
Wow, that's awesome. This, Dan Bradley, that's why Chuck repeats himself at work all the time.
What'd you say, Dan?
Can't remember what he's already talked about. Actually, LT was number 5 and number 1 on the countdown here.
Yeah.
No, this is great. Elizabeth says, Chuck, you tell great stories. That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
That's great.
Everybody's in on this Cowboys trip. Hey, if you also want to get on this Dallas Cowboys offsite strategy planning, Love and Relo from Dallas AT&T Stadium, let me know. Megan Harless is going to come up, maybe do the tour with us. It looks like.
I've done the tour before. I don't know if you have or not. That place, and to see all the Super Bowl trophies, et cetera, and go through the locker room, man. Ah,
We
what a
gotta we
life.
gotta stop living. We gotta stop living in the past, though, man. We need another Lombardi trophy in that case, man.
That's all right. We'll get there. We get Dak on board this year. We're gonna be good.
Big if, man. Big if, man. We should have never paid Zeke back in the day, dude. Because I trade, if I got to
That didn't
keep one
work.
right now, it's Dak, and
Yeah.
Zeke's lost a step in my opinion. But anyway, another year, another 9-7 season coming up for us.
Oh, I wish it'd be 9-7. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Woo, we take 9-7, won't we? Chuck, this has been so much fun.
Great, man.
I want to thank you so much for being here today. I want to give you the opportunity to kind of leave you with the last word, though. Anything
Yeah.
you want to highlight for people?
Thanks. I appreciate it. I just want to say that the International Association of Movers is morphing. We're changing. The American Moving and Storage Association um, merged with the American Trucking Association. I think it opened up for us an opportunity, and we're really trying to attract. We have, as I said, members, over 2,000 members in 170 countries, but we don't represent the movers, as many of the movers as we want to in the United States. So we've put together a group called the US DAB, Domestic Asset Based Movers. And we really want to step forward to represent those movers, those boots on the ground, trucks, warehouses, personnel that do moving here in the United States. And we're opening our arms, opening up the doors, and we want to embrace you. And we're trying to put together the best possible value proposition for you, providing advocacy, compliance, learning, just any tool that you think you need to have your business be successful. We're getting ready to launch an IAM financial literacy course. We have a ton of movers out there that are the best movers in the world, but they may not have the financial training when they open up a business to be able to make their business successful. We want to be able to provide the tools that people need to be successful in multiple ways. So if you're a mover out there, a US mover, and you hadn't really thought about the International Association of Movers, take a look at our website. Give me a call, and let's talk about how we can be of value to that segment of our industry. We want to be the International Association for all movers.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man, Chuck, I might have told the story before, but I got a good friend, Sonny Singh, who reached out to you, and he was just a little rinky dink mom and pop, half rogue mover out of Northern Virginia, reached out to you on a lark kind of, came down, met with you. Flash forward, gosh, 6, 7, 8 years now. He grew his business to a
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar business, sold it, bought
Yeah.
another business. He's now crushing it. He's now like running some Beltway consulting company, all because he reached out and had a conversation with each other.
Yeah,
So I
we had a
can't.
great relationship and helped him build his business, and I think we can do that for others in some form or fashion. But again, I'm still waiting for some of those royalties to come back from Sonny. I just didn't never see that check.
You and me both, brother. So you just get right in line, all right, Chuck. No, but But no, that's awesome, Chuck. Great plug, and IAM's a phenomenal organization. I highly recommend you
Thanks.
reach out to Chuck, whether you're on the corporate side, the RMC side, the moving side. You won't find a better partner in the business.
If I can push
Sir,
one other thing, and last thing is, we've got a number of women on our staff that have really taken a huge step forward. We've started what we're calling the Leadership Alliance program, but it's really focused on bringing women and minorities into leadership positions in the moving industry. And we're trying to build, again, a leadership track in our learning platform that will help bring forth and rise up and encourage women. And it's kind of selfish, really, on my part, because I'm hoping that they will then engage as leaders in the association as well. So that's another program that we're really proud of and that's gaining some traction. And I'm hoping people will consider participating in some of those activities.
yeah, for sure. And Ann Knapp, a friend of the show, good friend of mine personally, she's a part of that as well. You got some
That's right.
phenomenal women who are part of that. This has been great, everybody. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We've got Andrew Jackson from Warner Media. He runs the Warner Media Global Mobility Program. He's going to be on with us, sharing his story. We're going to talk all about that. Again, Chuck, thank you so much for being with us today. Really
Always.
appreciate it. And big shout out to Stacy Huff, our producer, and shout out to Tim Quirk, our advisor back there. And shout out to all of you who participated today and got involved. Thank you for your comments. You always make the show better. I appreciate you so much. Everybody have a wonderful day.